I'm going to tell you a story. It's a true story. It's based on a true story. Imagine you start your Airbnb business and everything is going well. You're earning a lot of money. All your guests love you and just give 5 stars every time they stay in your Airbnb. Everything is butterflies and rainbows, unicorns running around. But then suddenly you receive a notification, boop, that you have to pay tax on the VAT that you should have collected for the past 3 months. And then the unicorn starts running away, the butterflies just suddenly die, the rainbow disappears and just keeps raining. Well, basically, that was us when we found out that we had to pay VAT and we didn't plan for it. So anyway, what is VAT? What VAT was for us, once we exceeded the revenue of £85,000 for the last 12 months, we had to become collectors of VAT for HMRC, which meant that we had to include in our pricing 20% extra for VAT. So our guests will need to pay now 20% extra for VAT. And well, we were taught it's simple, very simple. Just increase your prices by 20%. Well, wrong. Very, very wrong. It wasn't that simple because it's a very competitive market. There are 2.9 million hosts in Airbnb and there seems to be 14,000 joining Airbnb as a host every month according to Steve's statistics. And once we increase our pricing by 20%, includes for the VAT, our bookings went down. So it wasn't that easy. And not only that, the admin work increased because now we had to pay tax every 3 months. So we had to keep our books organized every month. We had additional fees from the accountants because they had to, work more. And if we hadn't had a good bookkeeping software, it would have been just a nightmare that I described in the first part of the video. But luckily we had our books up to date and we were using Xero, which helped us to go through it. After all of that, there were 3 or 4 months when we were making profit and we were just, if any, breaking even because of that reduction of 20% in revenue. So what did we decide to do in the end? We decided to scale down the business temporarily, take one of the properties off to make sure we had a plan, a strategy, so that we were profitable when we registered again for VAT. And we took it now into account as an expense, and I explained that in my previous video and I broke down all the expenses. Now in hindsight, if I have the knowledge now and the same happens again, I would plan for VAT to make sure that I take it as an expense as I described in my previous video. I would try to go for a flat rate. We didn't do that. We could have done that because it meant that our VAT, the VAT that we had to collect was about 10% instead of 20%. So it would be just a 10% increase in our pricing instead of 20%. But we didn't know much about it. And also, I believe it's not a permanent solution. I believe there was a cap of 100 and 110,000 that you could be registered in that scheme. If I had to go through it again with the knowledge that I have now, I would consider joining that just to give some time, so some room for us to rearrange our business. We would have made sure that we took into account the extra work because it was extra time. It was extra bookkeeping, extra admin, and extra accounting work. We should have read more about VAT, about the fees that you incur if you pay late, about the frequency that you have to pay VAT, which was every 3 months. So if there's anything that I can leave you with in this video, is to plan properly, to make sure that even with a 20% reduction in your revenue, you are still profitable. That's what we should have done. And we now that we know and have the knowledge, that we will do in future.